There's just 1 minute to showtime.
The engines are on.
The following program is brought to you in living color.
When they wrote up the systems and the rule set that we use, did working people get to write a line? What class of men on pen and paper jotted down their clues? With capital, the heart of their design. When 90 million want a thing, but some shareholders say no. Which class of people get to have their way? The people read the fine print, say that this thing has got to go. And we'll start writing a new contract here today. Don't you know that hundreds will work and one man keeps the money? They don't think they gotta tell us why. When they say the new social contract, all the bosses will be gobsmacked and everyone will want a sign. Oh, yeah, everyone will want a sign.
Okay. Hello, cousins. Thank you for joining us on another week in hell. We are glad to be with you. We're glad to have you with us. As always, I am joined by my talented and illustrious on this side of the screen this time. I think we're always the opposite way. On this side of the screen. So we like to switch it up on you. So anyways, talented. Oh, there we go. Talented and illustrious
This is better.
co-host. On the cusp of making his return journey to China very, very soon. Are you excited? Are you looking forward to it?
I'm excited, but now at this point, I'm just like, I'm in the state of worrying about all the things that could go wrong. And all the things really is just flights, which is, will my flight from Phoenix to San Francisco get delayed, which will then chain reaction me into missing my Singapore flight, which will then chain reaction me into missing my China flight. Who knows?
Right.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah. I mean, that's the kind of the normal way of it, though, and so you're gonna worry about the most obvious things, but I think that everything's gonna go exactly like it's supposed to.
Yeah, I hope so. It's just there's literally nothing I can frickin' do, and that's what makes it frustrating. 'Cause it's like, well, what if this happens? Like, I don't know. What if it happens?
What if it does? Yeah, no, you'll figure it out. And what's really cool is this time you're getting to. It's not just a leisure trip. This time you're getting to perform. So that's going to be a really cool bucket list thing, I think. So I think I'm excited about it as you are. So, and I'm not. I don't have anything to do with it. But,
it will be nice. It will be fun.
Yes. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited by proxy. So that's what it really comes down to. And so now that you hear that, he will be going at the beginning of May. So you're going to be holding it down with me, running solo for a couple of shows, which is cool. Like
Still
to do
here
that every
next
now and
week,
again.
and then I'm gone for at least 2 weeks. We'll see how. We'll see if unless I'm like completely wiped out, I should be back the third Tuesday of May.
Yeah. So we will see. We'll all find out together in real time, because this is like what real people do when we don't have. This isn't our job, and we're not getting paid to do it. But as I like to say, you can't serve cunt if you're serving the empire. So that's what we do. We do it on our own expense and on our own time. So you guys get to hang out with us, and you know that too, because all of our stuff breaks all the time. So on our great American internet. But we got some stuff to talk about today. It's been a weird week. We're all kind of just in this holding pattern of what's going on. We don't know. Things change all the time, kind of a situation. We're figuring it out as we go. Because we know we do and we don't have like historical precedent to look back on with all of this. So some things you can refer to, some things we're just kind of out here, freeballing it, trying to figure it all out.
We have our new weekly schedule of
war happening. Okay, war over, and
Right.
we now kind of know that you can essentially ignore what the U.S. and the president says about the state of the
Oh,
conflict in
absolutely.
Iran
That's
because
that's
it's
just
just.
straight up market manipulation, and I really don't even know why it works at this point. It's
Are we
very
currently
confusing.
on war on right now or war off? Because it's every week
Kind of
every
both, like
Monday and
the
Friday.
this
If,
quote unquote ceasefire is off, but like
oh yeah, he
nothing.
announced it was open, but it's not.
Yeah,
That was
nothing's super happening exactly. So, but that is something that we did want to talk about a little bit about, kind of what's going on with the Strait, and how Iran's just like, it's ours and we'll close it down whenever we want to if you don't get the fuck out of here. And so that's basically what we're talking about. Like, it's like and it is. It's true. It's theirs and they're competent and they know what they're doing and they can close it if they want to. So we'll kind of unpack that a little bit. You may have noticed that everybody's favorite super for real socialist hero Zoran Mamdani is doing a fun time tour singing to kids with
Zioran Mom Dittler.
I love that.
It
It is
still
so
makes me
funny.
laugh. I saw somebody type that online, and it's been stuck in my
You
head ever
never, yeah,
since.
it never went away. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, there is, people just, love this guy. He's like the liberal hero, and of course, the left has been like, fuck this guy from the beginning. So, as we also come from that point of view, we wanted it to be something, it just wasn't, and we knew it wasn't going to be. And sometimes you get tired of being right all the time. So that's where we're really at with that. So we'll kind of go into that a little bit as well. And I have just completely blanked out on what you were telling me before the show, that you had a Daily Wire thing that you were going to talk about,
We
or,
are. Yeah,
or maybe that's the same
that's
thing.
the
I
that's
don't know.
that's the Mamdani thing.
Oh, okay, okay.
But I also talk about nurses,
Talk about what?
nurses in the California situation.
Okay, a plane flew over and I did not hear any words that you said at that time. Yeah, so yeah, in the California situation that to which Jared refers is that once again, when given the opportunity in a Democratic majority in a super Democrat state of California, said nah to creating a universal healthcare situation within the state. So why would they do that? Why would they do that? So I don't know. Maybe you guys should tell me and how one party is they're both bad, but one's a little bit better. So I don't think that they are. So that's what we got for you today. And Tuesdays are usually really weird news days. We'll be on the air when something crazy will happen, and so maybe something crazy will happen, and we'll get to that as well. But that's what we're looking at. So why don't you go ahead and lead with your California story? Let's start there.
Well,
Let's ease into it a little bit.
I woke up, or rather went to bed, because this is just from yesterday. This
Mm.
is from April 20th, 2026. And we hear about, why do I bring up these stories? Is it just because I like picking at one of the two parties because I want the other of the two parties to win or lose or whatever? My argument is that we have one party and you have two brands of it. Like,
Mhm.
and we're constantly told that we have to, like, you got to grow up and vote for XY because of, I've heard the
Yeah.
terms like harm reduction. I've heard,
Mhm.
like, you'll hear the lesser of two evils. You gotta, oh, if we only got this many more Democrats, then we could pass the legislation that you want. It's like, Jared, you want these things, and only one of the two parties is offering you those things. And I'm like, but they aren't
They're
though.
not though.
If
Yeah.
it was a simple choice of vote for the thing, get the thing, well, yeah, I'm very much into that. If they just said, all
That
right,
word option.
everyone vote yes or no on this thing, and then we would either get it or not. Yeah, but that's not how it ever works. That's not how any of this works. You don't have a voting system designed to enact your will. That is not the point of our voting system. The point of our voting system is to give you an outlet for your displeasure, and then you go, ah, well, and then you come back in 4 more years, and that's it. It's to limit the scope of your political of your just general, like, your version of how do things change, how do you affect your will as a human being, like, upon the world that you inhabit. And we're told that it's voting. If you want a thing, you go vote for it. We have this wonderful system. We have, quote, democracy, an actual. If you don't have democracy, if the thing you vote for and everyone wants never ever happens. We've been talking about getting cheaper or free or whatever healthcare since Hillary Clinton was the vice president. Like that was her whole big thing. And before that, wasn't that like Nancy Reagan? Like
Oh,
we've had just
actually, yeah, it goes all the way back to that, and she even
generations.
Hillary even tried to put that through like as just like a person like like when Bill
Yep,
was
that was her.
president, she's like, let's do this, and it was like a big loss for her, and they're all like, you're an idiot, you sit down, your dumb vagina, and like no, but and then that because it was the 90s, and that was really the argument. But yeah, this has been trying to be enacted, and probably even before this, you could probably go back in history, but I don't know the real timeline of it. But I imagine that this has been on the table for a few decades at this point.
We have. I keep hearing about that if we just get a certain level of one-party majority in the House, the Senate, the presidency, whatever, that we would suddenly get results that we're looking for. California, with its notoriously heavy Republican majority, I am kidding. It is almost entirely Democrat representation at all levels in the state Senate, state House, governor, etc. Basically all the mayors, etc. And we have this is a block. They're blocking a bill AB 1900, which is for something called Cal Care, which is something they've been voting on for like over a decade now, trying to get through, and it could not get out of committee this time, according to this article. And if you look up articles for it, this is the only article you will find written by National Nurses United, who's like the group trying to do it. Let's read a little bit about it. The California Nurses Association, CNA, members condemn the California State Assembly's failure to advance AB 1900, the California Guaranteed Health Care for All Act, also known as Cal Care, at a time when health care is needed more urgently than ever before. The failure to advocate AB 1900 did anybody know this existed? I don't live in California, but was this a big popular thing? I never heard this brought up by like the Democrats are good people, even they don't bring it up. Maybe they don't know it exists, or maybe they know that this is what it is. It's like a jingle keys at people, a thing they're never ever gonna do ever to to maybe get you to go
Right.
vote for the
The kind of stuff
100th
that comes up when you're warming up to an election. That's what this is.
the that there's a Republican in the White House because Bernie Sanders is talking about healthcare again type move.
Right.
Yeah, a thing that you would want to do in the face of, remember, right now we have, according to the Democrats, just the general, the people who get on TV, Democrats, not just average voters, we have literal fascism in the White House. Fascism is taking over America, and it's going to take away everyone's rights, etc. So you think now would be more important than ever to secure healthcare as a right. Hey, look at this. Let's do that. Let's fight fascism.
And what a gigantic morale boost that would be. Like, you ask why don't they just do anything? Why don't they just give them anything? You could win. Like if this happened in California and people would be talking about domino effect. People would be talking about
like
how we do it in this
35% of the
state.
country. Like it's a giant.
Right.
California's huge in terms of population.
Yeah, it's like the 4th largest economy in the world or something. I don't know if that's true, but I know it's a gigantic.
You get New York and California, you have like 60% of the country's
Right.
population or something.
That would be such a gigantic boost forward. But that's what tells you right there that the parties are operating under the same donorship, under the same tutelage, under the same personage, because that is what's going on. They are being told what to do, and that's why there is no difference between the parties. Ideally, you would have a party that Republicans, let's say, are just like, no, we're not doing anything. That's not what we want to do. But the Democrats would be like, yeah, fuck yeah, we're going to do all of it. And we're really going to do it. And we have a track record of doing it. That's how you have different parties. If they are doing the same thing and they're just spinning in the same circle, you have one party.
I think this is a nice preview of what we can look forward to when the Democrats have the massive blue wave that's coming for the midterms. And I'm not saying that being silly. I think that's kind of the plan. That's what's supposed to happen next is we've had our whole big, extremely unpopular dismantling of the entire base of who got Trump elected. Like MAGA has just been dismantled, like I've been talking about for a long time.
Yeah.
It's happened.
It's pretty fascinating to be commenting on it. I mean, you can observe this and stuff, but we, have a kind of a unique position here as to be able to comment on it in real time. And it has been kind of a fascinating decline to watch happen, because you really, at the beginning of this, you really couldn't predict that they would that class would be like, hey, no, we're giving up our leader. just really did not
If
seem.
you campaign on "I will end the wars, I will lower the prices, America first," and then do what has happened for the last year and a half, I think they're
The
absolutely
exact
correct. You
complete
gotta
opposite
bail.
of those things.
You
Yeah.
you either gotta. I mean, how many people have voted for Biden to do basically the same things, and then he didn't? And
Yeah.
you did not see a big like Rachel Maddow never got on TV and said, "I'm out. Biden sucks. He's
Yeah,
betrayed all everything." But you
exactly.
know who has? Alexander Jones has got
And
Alex Jones is
yeah,
on his
and
fucking show saying Trump has betrayed all of us and he's doing these wars. I don't understand the globalists and like
and then another big one, that we have to bring up all the time and against our will is Tucker Carlson. And he just in the last, I guess the last couple of days, yesterday, today, said something about like that he takes a role of responsibility in hurting people into voting for Trump, and now feels like quote unquote tormented or tortured or will live with that for a while. And it's like, what?
ain't nobody getting on TV saying that shit for Biden. And
Right,
like
yeah,
I
and these
still
people
believe
have been just absolutely irredeemable for most of their careers, right? Like they're just like the worst of the worst people. And now that these people are the people who are the ones that are making like any degree of sense, and we're not saying this is like, oh, we support you. You make the sense now. We listen to you. Not at fucking all. You're still a jerk off at heart, and you are. You're just looking for a better ride. But the point of them in saying the right words, these people are journalists. They are personalities. They know how to manipulate a crowd. The point is if you had two distinct parties that had people who had the moral beliefs in these parties, you would have not be getting one of them saying, I regret my role in this, and being left of the right of that party.
you have
Not
one
left
set
to the
of
left, but left
goals.
of the right.
You have one set of goals, and if you don't have like, I don't know, because the reason that you would join, the reason that I was voting for the Democrats back in the day was that you're supposed to have this like set of ideals that we are
Right.
pursuing that are more important than like individual, I guess, wins and losses, like accomplishing the goals, things like healthcare. This would be one of them. This is probably this, and like I didn't want to get drafted because we were doing Iraq round 2 at the time. Like those were the biggest motivating factors even back with Obama was like the student loans and healthcare. He was talking Obamacare. Hey, like we were talking about healthcare way back then in 2000 freaking 2008 when 2008 when he got elected. All right. I'm gonna get off track with dates here, but so this is kind of a preview as to what kind of action Democrats will be taking once they have the ultra majority in every possible house, like they did back with Obama and when he did nothing with that. So we have where are we? CalCare is a comprehensive, high-quality, single-payer program that would be many Californians' only lifeline for care. Nurses remain relentless in their pursuit to guarantee health care as a human right in the state. We condemn this disgraceful decision by the California State Assembly to stop CalCare from moving forward in the legislature. It didn't even get put up to a vote, so you don't get to like go, oh, who's the assholes who voted against this? No.
Right. Yeah,
It doesn't get that far
Didn't even
because it might
happen.
look bad. Nurses know that Californians desperately need guaranteed health care. We have fought for decades to ensure that health care is a human right regardless of patients' ability to pay. CalCare was reintroduced in the Assembly February 12th of this year, 2026. A recent poll conducted by David Binder Research found that nearly 2/3 of California voters want to see transformational changes, not minor reforms, to California's broken healthcare system. 2/3 of people want it.
And this is a
Famously,
gigantic
Medicare for
number
all.
in a place that large. That
Famously,
is not a
Medicare for
small.
all polls over 50%, even with Republicans, people who supposedly
Mhm.
hate this and wouldn't want blah blah blah. Like, it is just a cross the board bipartisan situation that we're all like rolling our eyes at. We've been talking about it for so long. Like we're
Right.
a worldwide joke of having such a
Mhm.
messed up healthcare system. And why must we maintain it? Because it's an industry. Like it's the same reason you
Yeah.
can't stop the wars. Too many people make too much money off of it, and well, not too many people. It's a very small number of people who happen
Enough
to be
people,
the ones
yeah.
who happen to
Enough
be the
people
ones
to-
writing the script for all of this. Like that, they
Right.
aren't the top layer of power. If 2/3 of your fucking country want a thing, and you have supposedly a bipartisan system, a two-party system, and you go to one, doesn't happen, other doesn't happen, but like your democratic will is being subverted. You do not have effective democracy. Like that's why I shit on voting, because it doesn't work. If it worked,
Yeah.
I'd be voting Larry out there telling everybody go vote like I was in 2016, like with
Mhm.
Bernie and them. Like I was all about it. 2020. Hindsight is 2020. Bernie 20. Here we go, everybody. And then they're like, let's rearrange the whole primary. And then actually Kamala Harris is going to be the candidate eventually. The one that dropped out before the. All right. I'm not ranting on that right now. What else we got? All the 300 organizations have endorsed CalCare. The California Federation of Labor Unions, ACLU, California Faculty Association, Federation of Teachers, School Employees. There's a lot of teacher things. Working Families Party, ARC of California. I don't know what this is. Oh, United Auto Workers. Hundreds of patients. Like everybody. Like this is just going to be paragraphs about like, wouldn't it be nice if we had healthcare? Isn't it weird that everyone agrees that we should have it, and then like absolutely nothing happens? Okay. Grateful to the 25 legislators who are joint authors or co-authors of CalCare's AB 1900s. Joint authors are what are they? Assembly Maker. Okay, then we list them. Nick Schultz, good job, I guess. Liz Ortega, cool. Hopefully you don't get picked to be the rotating villain who has to vote no on a thing later, right? As you're about to not be elected to something. Oh, this is state level, so they don't quite have to do that kind of stuff.
It's just not. It doesn't make as large of an impact when you hear about it.
And there you go. We are not California. You are not getting these
You're not getting healthcare again, guys. So, well, the thing of it is like on the world stage, okay, like let's take this out of California and back into the national conversation. On the world stage, you can pretty much pick any topic you want to that we're dealing with here. But just since we're talking about this, I'll stay on brand. In the world stage, like if this was like any other normal situation in any other country that wasn't dominated by the donors who pay for legislation in this country and pay for things to go the way that they go, a country would be embarrassed for this kind of behavior of not offering even the most basic living conditions and be at, you're supposed to be like the first world here. Like this is supposed to be like the country, America #1, hurrah, right? Like that someone in that position would ordinarily be in an embarrassing position, and that would matter under these conditions, but, to the rest of the world, because that would look bad to the people who are, putting the money into you or trying to get other people from other places to put money into you. This is obviously not a good bet. And this is something that we've been talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks at this point, that the donors that are running this country have scrapped it, essentially, are scraping it down and selling off the parts. And then
they think there's too many of us. Why would they want to give us health care? They think there's too many people.
And that too. And that has come up not even one time, but multiple times in this Epstein reveal, and the tiny fraction of information that we have been getting. These rich fuckers are talking about how to destroy society in order to profit from it. And that's something I brought up a few times, that the scenario that you see in the Fallout TV show, where they literally cause nuclear war to sell vaults to people, vault living to people. And it's like, oh yeah, no, actually that conversation is going on all the time with these fucking people. And then they also believe that there will be enough people left around to be their actual fucking servants, man. Like this is like how fucked up these people are. They think that they can sell tribalism to people by destroying society. And there are, again, emails that show them talking about, okay, I think I've figured out a way to kill everybody and just leave a few people behind. So that's exactly the issue. You cannot be a serious country and deal with seriousness on the world stage if this is the kind of shit that's going on within it, in the superstructure of power. And everything comes back to the Epstein shit. It's all right fucking there. And this 3 million plus document dump that we got, and then everybody just went crickets after that, is a drop in the fucking bucket of how much is actually a part of this and information that is there and should absolutely be public information. And you will not hear us stop talking about it, because this is where it all starts and stops, and it's all on the fucking table. So the reason you don't have healthcare is in there. The reason they're trying to kill you and your life is horrible is in there. The reason every horrible thing is seeming to happen at this country at one time is planned. And it makes you think that, like, yeah, okay, so when are they going to nuke us for the vaults then? Like, when does that happen? Because like I think we're probably a few weeks short of getting hunted for sport at this point. So there really isn't there really isn't a limit to what these people will do. They're literally talking about it with each other at this point. So when we look at this healthcare situation in one single state, even though it's a gigantic state, it's like, oh, well, that sounds like a small issue at this point because we've been talking about it so much, whatever. And then, but if you look at it on the grand scale, if things weren't being done intentionally like this and the parties weren't being made to do the same thing by the same people, it would be a national and global embarrassment to behave and have the standard of living that this country has, given that it's supposed to be whatever the fuck it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but for various reasons, it won't happen.
Right.
Until it won't happen until like other things happen. It's like a lot of the problems that we see. It's like, how come policing is such a mess? It's like, well, because that's one of the things that you can't really fix until all these other. You have to generally improve society, which cannot happen under the current. Under the
Right.
current arrangement of ownership is the way to put it.
Yeah.
You can't have everybody working and one guy collect. It's like our theme song says, hundreds will work and one man gets the money.
Yes.
You cannot have the arrangement of ownership where that is like that, because that is what incentivizes systems like this, where you have the fully privatized healthcare, and then even if you just expand from the simple healthcare outcomes part of it, the people who actually make decisions for us, the people who decide who we're going to get to vote for president, they think there are too many people. And why would you, especially there's too many like poor people, like we're just back to the frickin' Thomas Malthus
And they
surplus
created
population.
this. That's the argument as well. It's like, well, they said that there's too many people. They've said that there's too many poor people, so they accelerate the creation of poor people in order to funnel them. Oh, now homelessness is illegal, so let's funnel them back into the prison system and use them for slave labor and do slavery again. And that's where this mindset is, and that's something again we've been warning about for I don't know, couple of years at this point, that like there is a methodology to this. It's not just accidentally, oh yeah, at the time that everybody's super poor and can't afford homes and there's no food and that's going to drive crime up. Also, we make homelessness illegal just because. It's not an accident. None of this is. These people are out of fucking control is basically what it is. And we can make allusions in some cases to historical precedent, like like the Russian Revolution and the French Revolution and the fall of Rome, because in particular in the French Revolution, we know that literally had to do with rich people getting a little too rich and a little too asshole and becoming everybody's problem, and some people lost their heads over it. So that's kind of the situation that we're looking at now, and then this whole like, oh, America's 250 years old, and typically that's about as long as empires last. So if we weren't exactly for sure in the fall, we definitely have been in a big accelerated movement of it here recently. I mean, like, I don't think any of it, I think we were like obliquely talking about it before. A few months back we'd have been like, things are falling. We know they're falling. It might take 100 years or so, but America's basically done in the way that it ever was before. This is the end. Not to say that it won't be, you're gonna get it erased off the map necessarily, but it just will not ever be back what it was at the empire's fall. But now I think in the past few weeks we have been like on the absolute rocket ride to to the bottom here, with things just completely fucking falling apart, which again is entirely intentional. It's just how far are things going to go if these people get what they want, which is just money and power. Will they fuck off? I think that's what we all want, right? Like, if you just get what you want, will you just leave us alone and fuck off? Go somewhere else with your money? Like, fine, do that, okay? Like, do that. So, that's kind of what we're waiting to see. We don't, every day you get up and it's something new and different. And it's like, yeah, some things you can compare, but other things it's just like nowhere in history knew that things would be like this. You could not have predicted this. Just like, we can't predict exactly like 200 and some odd years into the future.
Oh no, did you go out or me? I'm gonna assume it's you, because it's been that my internet's been pretty solid lately. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's flip over to our next thing here. Oh, you might be back. But as we're going here, I want to talk. Let's do a little bit of Iran talk, like we were saying before. I don't see a lot of value in doing the like ping pong back and forth are we currently war on or war off? Because
Mhm.
before and after the weekends, like when the market is closed over the weekends, so they'll strategically make positive or negative announcements about the state of the about the Strait of Hormuz is really what actually matters here, in order to kind of juke the market in whichever direction it needs to go at the time. So well, it's not just me, but the people paying attention, and if you try to look like, all right, what's the actual play here? Because it isn't just like, let's play peekaboo with the Strait of Hormuz. Like there's always larger like reasons, and if you look at this as, oh, this makes no sense, and the U.S. has absolutely no plan, there's usually something, and what it appears to be is using this to mess with Russia and China, because China, remember, we don't get a very little, if any, of our oil, that like the oil gas you're putting in your car comes anywhere near the Strait of Hormuz, but China and them, they get a lot of it. Asia gets most of their fuel through the Strait of Hormuz from one of the various OPEC countries, and Russia produces a lot of their own oil, but like market things between them, I don't know. I hate having to. I don't want to learn these things. I don't want to know
Right.
what the oil market is doing in Russia, China, and the Middle East. But let's find some article talking about this. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has arrived in Beijing as the United States blocks the Strait of Hormuz, through which China imports about a third of its oil supplies. So what it seems to do when the U.S. makes these grand moves to try and hurt other countries is it tends to, like with Russia and Ukraine, the goal there was, and this isn't me making this up, this is with a stated goal, like Mitch McConnell and them get on TV, it's sort of the Democrats, saying that this is meant to hurt Russia, like a war of attrition. Sanctions will like slowly bleed the Russian economy until they're ready to come and make deals that will help us. Like that's the general foreign policy, right? Like that's the stated reason for messing with Cuba this long, is they're supposed to be like, we are sick of communism, and then because we keep making their lives shittier by denying them like food and fuel, and
Right.
it has yet to ever work ever anywhere in the way that it's supposed to, well, the way that it's sold to us. So what it seems to be doing is pushing Russia and China closer together and making their like allyship stronger than ever. We got Lavrov meeting in Beijing,
Yeah.
become friends with China.
That's how you know that United States has got some real winners at the real strategic thinkers at the head here.
These plans sure do pan out. Lavrov received a red carpet welcome on Tuesday, according to photos shared by Russia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Beijing and Moscow have condemned the U.S. and Israel over their war with Iran, with China also being economically affected by the energy crisis it has caused. China, a big importer of Iranian oil, also slammed a recently imposed U.S. scheme to blockade vessels entering or departing Iranian ports and coastal areas. See, this was a week ago, so they're still going off of the war off or war on, whichever state at the time it was on the, what is it, the 14th. The 14th. So picture yourself a week ago. The Strait of Hormuz is an important international trade route for goods and energy, and maintaining its security, stability, and unimpeded flow is in the common interest of the international community, China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesman Guo Jiakun said on Monday. Lavrov speaks to Aragchi.
Wow. Yeah.
Al Jazeera's Alan Fisher, reporting from Washington, D.C., said the U.S.'s goal is to choke off Iran by blocking everything coming in and out of Iranian ports. What the U.S. hopes is that there will be pressure on Iran from some of its main business partners, including China, he said, adding that Beijing imports about a third of the oil from Iran. See, it's not even like a horribly secret plan. They do talk about it pretty openly. The United States is hoping that pressure on China will mean China putting pressure on Iran and forcing Iran to get back to the negotiating table. On Monday, Lavrov held a telephone conversation with his Iranian counterpart, Abbas Araghchi. The top Russian diplomat told Araghchi it was important to guard against any resumption of hostilities in the Middle East. Resumption of hostilities. Oh yeah, we were in a ceasefire at this time, except for Lebanon. Doesn't count for Lebanon. And Russia stood ready to help with a settlement, according to a statement by Russian Foreign Ministry. So yeah, it's like China and Russia being like, let us all be chill, and the U.S. being like, we'll kill everyone, we'll blow up every power plant, every bridge.
The typical American state of things, yeah.
But you'll see all kinds of articles.
This is also something that we've been talking about for a while. But there are a few consistencies here, which is, when we're talking on one hand about, okay, everything is, all the donors are doing a fire sale of the United States and they're going elsewhere with their money, and eventually, blah blah blah. But at the same time, the rest of the world essentially, and I don't mean that, I mean this as a kind of a blanket statement. Obviously, you could pick it apart, but like there's kind of almost a world peace thing happening here, where people are uniting that wouldn't ordinarily unite. North and South Korea are talking. China and Taiwan are on better terms than they've ever been. They have an opportunity here, and I don't think this is necessarily them looking into their crystal ball either. They can see the writing on the wall and sit there and say like, okay, America is falling the fuck apart. We need to unite against whatever dumb shit that they're going to do and pull up stakes and make sure that we can work together, and like we'll just leave them the fuck out of it until they need us. And that's not being malicious necessarily, even though they all have the very big right to act out in malice. It's just like literal logic. It's not even like necessarily like come from a capitalistic or a communistic standpoint. It's just a logic of, if somebody's like annoying and dangerous and causing a problem, but everybody else hates that person, then you just like back away from that fucking person and let them like stand there like an idiot alone. So, and that's really what's happening. And our allies are going, in the toilet as much as the United States are, because they will follow the United States right over the cliff because they're afraid to break up. But, if Australia gets a better offer from China or wherever, Russia or whatever, they're going to take it and they're going to start doing deals with them. If Great Britain gets a better offer, if Canada gets a better offer, or so on and so forth, you're going to see, everybody pulling away eventually, so that there's just, the United States is an island unto its own, which cannot survive. I think we have all learned that since like day one of kindergarten. There is a social contract which needs to be abided by. And the United States and those who have been calling the shots here and pulling the strings have not abided by that pretty much its entire history. And this is what happens. We are facing collapse at this point, socially collapse. We're facing global collapse. We're facing economic collapse. It's just the question is, how bad will it be? How bad of a death is it going to be? Is it going to take everybody with it? Again, I'm having no luck today.
Oh, I can still hear you this time. Just your video's weird. But yeah, we have China talking about how important things. Well, China always is like they tend to be like the calm voice in the room, which is why people are.
Oh, can you? Okay.
More and more turning to.
Yeah, no, I'm having no luck today. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what is going on here.
But if you were concerned that, oh man, look at Trump specifically sure is messing up all of our deals. Well, we had this. There's an interview with a guy on Face the Nation, I think, yesterday, and it's a Democratic senior advisor, it's the guy who was on Face the Nation, reveals Joe Biden was considering bombing Iran in second term. He said that may have had to happen, is like how he phrased it. But I continually make the point, like ad nauseum, that it does not matter which of these, which color you vote for. They have the same general set of bosses. Yes, there is some difference. Like there are debates within and divides within the ruling class as to the best action to take. Like you have I don't even know if I don't know if these are still the dividing lines anymore, but it used to be like you have the more technocratic people, your Palantirs, versus your traditional industrial capitalists. Like even Trump is kind of more of a traditional industrial not industrial, he's real estate, but still like he's in the he comes from the background of like build a building and then sell or lease the building and make money with the building, which is a step different from pure finance, pure like hedge fund, let us put money in a box and shake it around and now there is more money in the box. So while you do have divides within the ruling class, they all seem to agree that we gotta take out Iran, and that plan was coming down the pipeline regardless of who our named leaders are, the people whose faces you're allowed to see, whose names you're allowed to know, like Joe Biden and Donald Trump and AOC, Mamdani, it's like the names you're allowed to, the faces you see on the TV, not the people who actually make the decisions, but. Weirdly enough, yes, both your current president, Donald Trump, and your, I guess, would have been if he won or she won, because Kamala, like if you really think, oh, well, if it was Kamala, you see, this was Biden, and these are totally different sets of plans. Like, I don't know, man, that's a level of naivete that I can't entertain anymore. Here we go. And once again, a weird dearth of writing about this thing. You think that this would be kind of a, oh my God, even from like a TMZ like gossip standpoint. Oh, I can't believe he said that. Wow. But no, there's like one article about this. I can find it was on Face the Nation. It was on CBS. It was on TV. But who watches CBS? I only know this because it was clipped from Twitter or some shit. So, all right, here we go. We got David James. He's got kind of a fun writing style. This is from, what is it? WeGotThisCovered.com is the website. Donald Trump has already booked his place in the top future worst presidents of all time listicles, delivering what may yet prove to be the death knell of the United States as a respected global superpower. But it's not pretend. See, these are small news sources. He needs me to be his copy editor. But let's not pretend that his predecessor Joe Biden was some kind of shining beacon of outstanding leadership either. Biden, who for at least half of his presidency was visibly too old and checked out for one of the most demanding jobs in the world, oversaw skyrocketing grocery prices, a faltering economy, and was in lockstep with Israel throughout the Gaza genocide. Who's this commie? He's not. That's why I'm making that joke. Like, who's this far left progressive, seemingly just normal ass guy writing these articles? We can only theorize what a second Joe Biden presidency might have looked like. Biden is now 83, and if he'd been allowed to stand for a second term and won, would be currently battling prostate cancer while in office. He was before also. They just didn't tell you because they didn't think it was important for you to know. Even so, it would have to be better than Trump, right? Well, an interview with former Biden administration senior advisor Amos Hochstein indicates things might not be as different as you'd expect. In fact, in an eyebrow-raising admission, Hochstein says Biden may have also taken America to war with Iran. Speaking on Face the Nation, he explained, you're not going to hear this. In July 2024, Secretary Blinken claimed Iran was 1 or 2 weeks away from having enough fissile material breakout capacity to eventually make a weapon, if Iran had decided to do so. There were indirect negotiations that the Biden administration did, but it went nowhere. So President Trump argues that he did what no other president would. Is it just simply that the bill was coming due and it fell on his desk? I do think there's a certain element to that. And that's why I was supportive of President Trump joining in June to take the strikes that we had thought internally, the Biden administration, we may have to take if there was a second term. We thought that the summer of 2025 was probably, we may have to be there at the same place. And we did. We did war games. We did some practice runs on what it would look like to look into it. And because that may have had to happen under our watch as well. But he said we obliterated their nuclear program. The question then is not about what he did in June. This war we are in now did not attack the nuclear facilities again. This was not about the nuclear facility. So the question now becomes, can you do a deal with the Iranians? And the maximum position that both sides have are right now very far apart, despite all the rhetoric that we're almost there, but we are there. But if we're not there, we'll bomb the hell out of them. So you hear what he said there? He's like, yeah. So the spin there is going to be that he's like, well, you see, in June we agreed with the strike. He's going to say that they agreed with the strikes last year. When he gets out, he's like, we done it. We've destroyed their nuclear capabilities. And so what they'll say is like, well, Biden would have actually destroyed. He would have bombed Iran better. His bombing of Iran would have worked. Like, that's the angle that you're going to hear him come from. That's what he was going for right there. He's talking about, it's like, well, he said back then that we got all their nuclear things. And look, right now, he's not even bombing their nuclear thing. He's saying that he's bombing Iran worse. Like, bombing Iran is good. We've now moved past the question as to whether or not we should be bombing Iran, and now we're on to, are you bombing it good enough? Is your bombing of high enough quality? Not, should anybody be bombing them at all? Look, I hate my sideways mouth. Like, when I smile, it goes, huh? It goes up there and then doesn't go up here. It should be like even, but it doesn't. I don't know. All right. We had thought here. We'll read it. We'll see it quoted out here. We had thought internally in the Biden administration that we may have to take, if there was a second term, we thought that the summer of 2025, we may have to be there in the same place. We did war games. We did some practice runs on what it would look like to look into it. and because they may have had to happen under our watch as well. See, a little slightly avoidant language may have had to happen, had to happen, had to happen, may have had to happen. Who knows? Makes you wonder what the point of democracy is. Who is this? Is this fucking Socialist Review? We got this covered.com? Is this You bet that in this alternative reality, you could just say alternative reality, Donald Trump is telling everyone who will listen that that time has proven he was right about Biden being a warmonger and that he's the biggest idiot in the world for leading America into another disastrous war in the Middle East. I mean, I would say that. I don't think he led them into the war, though. That's the point of this whole article. Ain't nobody led us in. Nobody whose name you're allowed to know led us into this war. It's the quote deep state, the permanent bureaucracy, the shadow government, whatever you want to call it. They're not even that shadowy. It's just it's BlackRock, it's Vanguard, it's money. The banks want us to do this war, and they have for a long time. So it's happening. Admissions like this do nothing but erode faith in democracy, as it appears that no matter who the American people voted for, unaccountable and unelected advisors had already pre-decided that Iran was going to be the subject of military action in the second half of the 2020s. Right now, senior Democrats are rightly pointing out that Trump's war with Iran is a badly managed quagmire with no obvious endpoint. It's China. It's to mess with China. We're trying to force war with China, force conflict with China. That would be the endpoint. That's killing thousands, destabilizing the region for decades, and driving up prices for American consumers. But it seems that if the 2024 election had gone differently, there's a good chance they'd be doing pretty much what Trump is doing right now, except you wouldn't be allowed to criticize it, or you'd be called like homophobic or racist or a Nazi or something. That's the difference. And instead now you're allowed to be against the war. Enjoy this time, everybody. In 2028, the war is good. It's going to be good. I'm trying to move my lips around to get the other half of my face to smile while I talk. It makes me look crazier. Be ready. 2028, the war becomes good again. The war will be transitioning to the status of good guy war, and we're all supposed to support it starting in 2028 under President Gavin Newsom and or Pete Buttigieg and or Kamala Harris. Oh my God! If they were the only way they could that you could prevent this the blue Reich from happening, the woke Reich, it would be if you actually ran Kamala Harris again. Oh man, I don't know if she could. She might be the only person who could lose to Trump twice. Maybe Hillary. He could run Hillary again. Just we have no imagination. I do still think it's going to be Newsom, though. I think they're floating all these other people to, like, scare you into going, like, no, please don't do Kamala or Pete. We'll vote for Newsom. Just please don't make us vote for Kamala. But like this guy says, what's the point? If you're going to look at me with a straight face and tell me that, well, Kamala wouldn't have done this war, it's like, I don't think it's Kamala's decision. Maybe she wouldn't, but unfortunately, she's running for the office of president and not president of Bank of America. So she doesn't get to decide what happens at all. Like, she gets to decide, like, what color suit she wears and what, like, the Christmas ceremony at the White House is going to be, etc. But she doesn't really get to decide what wars we do. Those are determined outside of her purview. You know who also didn't get to decide to do a war, but I don't know how I'm transitioning into this. You know who else did a war that was predetermined, had to happen by our actual owners, the non-elected owning class of our government? Barack Hussein Obama also did that. He was the president, and therefore he was a war criminal because he had to do war crimes, because that's what it takes. That's part of your job as president. Is you're the mascot. You get out there and you got to tell the American people why, one, you got to not go after the George W. Bush administration for the various torture programs, which he famously did not do. He said, yeah, sure, yeah, we tortured some folks. Was how he talked about it. Tortured some folks was words that came out of his mouth. But we're supposed to like him for some reason. Oh, right, it's because he's a Democrat and he's one of the, quote, good guy parties. You know, unless you happen to be watching the show and you're a dedicated Republican voter, in which case you're supposed to not like him. Not for any real reasons, just because he's a Democrat. That's what it's supposed to be, man. In the same way that people choose stupid reasons to be mad at Trump, his hair and he's orange, like all this, he has bad thoughts. It's like, dude, I don't give a shit what his thoughts are. I care about what he's doing with the office. Everything I just said, he doesn't have the option to do anything else. Well, if he was a hero, he would be being killed by the state. He'd be going out there making crazy speeches. We're doing healthcare. The war is over. Actually, I've dismantled the American military, and then his head would be exploded. Like as soon as the words left his lips, he would be vaporized by a furry super sniper 900 feet away with a 30-06 in it. I'm making Charlie Kirk assassination references because it was an explosive device planted on his lapel, not a super sniper with a text message girlfriend who did not confess to the crime. His parents turned him in. That's sad. It's messed up, man. Well, it's because they didn't want the cops to show up and shoot out their house, so actually it kind of makes sense. Mamdani brings Obama to NYC for meeting. So this is our socialist communist man, Zoran Mamdani, who I don't know if he ever campaigned himself talking about how Obama's a war criminal, but he probably tweeted about it at some point. He had some wild tweets. That's why they elected him. His tweets were good, so he had to be elected. And it's not like I freaking wanted Mayor Adams to win again. He's a clown, but it was all clowns, and a clown won. More Zoran Mamdani, and I don't care about what this article says. I just wanted to show you that they were doing this. They met for the first time in New York City on Saturday, a high-profile sit-down. Mamdani's trying to maintain a working relationship with more mercurial current commander-in-chief, whatever. Okay. So he's making his meetings with traditional Democrats, and we were told that Mamdani, as a DSA candidate, as a socialist, can't see my air quotes in this frame, as a communist, whatever words, leftist even. Well, he is a leftist. That's the one I would leave for him, because at this point, what is a leftist? It's when you're a Democrat, but you're really mad. He's just like, I'm a Democrat, and I'm going to vote for a Democrat, literally no matter what. You could put anybody up there with Democrat in their name, and I'm going to vote for him. But also, we need... I'm going to go to rallies and get really angry and take a lot of selfies with my very cool signs. And then every 2 to 4, however many years, I will vote for whoever the machine tells me to vote for. And I believe that voting is the only thing that does anything. I will only ever recommend voting. And if you vote wrong, then you're Hitler. Also, if you remember from the beginning of the show, you can have a nearly 100% Democrat controlled everything in California, and you will still not get health care, as California just refused to advance to committee a bill that would give universal health care to all Californians, which is tens of millions of people. So, he's sitting down with Obama, and this is an important telegraph. It's a telegraph that he is a normal, boring Democrat. Mamdani, is a normal, boring Democrat, and you should trust him, vote for him. He's not a scary communist or whatever. And you could also already tell that by his actions. He was elected on things like ending the poor treatment of homeless people in New York and maybe fixing that, doing something about it. Instead, he reinstituted the homeless sweeps. He was supposed to, the NYPD is one of the most corrupt organizations in the country, which is hard to believe considering the country that we live in. He has just kept the same chief of police from before, the one when he was campaigning about the NYPD is a bunch of murderers and we're going to hate them and all this. Also, person who runs the NYPD, just keep your job, lady. You're doing a great job. We love you. We love you so much. We want you to be happy and healthy. We'll give you whatever you need. So why do I care so much? Well, it's just Obama. He's the president. Of course he's going to be with former president. What do you mean? I heard arguments where it's like Mamdani is raising his own profile he's being platformed by Obama. And it's like, if you've listened to the show long enough, if you know me at all, you know where I'm going to go with this. I was once in a room with several communists at a meeting. It was a series of speeches. It was a day of speeches. It was called Unite Against the Imperialist, singular, because it's the U.S. The U.S. is the only current empire. You can get real mad about Russia. Russia's just a big country. China's a big country. They're not empires. It doesn't fit the Leninist definition of imperialism, which is like, so if you live in Bulgaria, America can just turn off your payments. You can just turn off your banks. Your ability to do transactions is off. Can China do that to you? Has China attempted to do that to anyone? Can Russia do that to you? The SWIFT payment system. Can Russia kick you off of your PayPal because you dared to have a transaction with an American? Okay, I'm getting specific because I have a friend who they weren't fucking funding the Russian army or whatever, but they were buying something online and it was from a Russian seller, and the fact that their internet rubbed up against their internet, PayPal is just like, you're permanently banned from all of our Venmo too because we're the same company. Well, turn off your water. That's an empire. That's what an empire does. And there is only one in the U.S. That is the empire. Well, it's not even the U.S. It's NATO. It's like the West. But I was in a room of communists at Unite Against the Imperialist. Just tracing Obama here. Just thinking about my life. And the total body count, like the total number of deaths that had resulted from the actions of the people assembled in that room, I would guess is a dozen or fewer. I would hazard that it's 0, but I don't know. Maybe there were some military veterans talking, and maybe they had many confirmed kills. But I remember getting my ass exploded on the internet because I dared to be in a room with people they're like, well, you see, Jared, you think these are communists, but they are actually secret fascists. So I was, even worst case, let's say they're right. I was in a room of fascists. The number of people they had killed was probably less than 20. It's probably 0, but I'm just in case. So what's Obama? What is Obama's final tally? And these numbers are hilariously low. Well, it's not hilarious, tragic actually. It's extremely depressing. But here we go. We'll just go down. This is an article from 2017, back when we were still allowed to criticize Obama. Now he's getting like reified, lionized, like George W. Bush. George W. Bush is getting the rehab treatment, of course. But we got Obama as Donald Trump assumes office. Blah, blah, blah. But remember, fucking Obama's legacy as a drone president includes reports how the U.S. could reform drone strike policies. What were the benefits of CIA drones? The Pentagon. All right, so let's look at here we go. We just got a table. Estimates. These numbers are, wow, are they low? There is no way. I don't know how they're defining what they're counting here, but Jesus. Estimates of U.S. targeted killings, fatalities. Pakistan, a country I didn't think we were ever at war with through any of this. I didn't know we were bombing Pakistan, but total killed 3,000. And then the fun over here is you look at percentage of civilians killed. And you'll see in 2006, it was 99%. 99% civilians. Meaning over here it says that they killed 94 people, and 93 of them were civilians. Oh, but then look, the next year they got it down to 0. Also, the U.S. just reports these numbers. I've heard, can't really confirm this, but I've heard say that they started defining anybody killed in a drone strike as just, that's an enemy combatant. If they were killed, they're a combatant, so they don't count as a civilian. So maybe that's why that 0 is. And oh, Jesus, shit really picked up in 08, 09. Oh my God, 2010, 800 people killed. Only 2% were civilians. 2017, he was out of office. He couldn't drone strike anybody. I don't even know what LWJ. Oh, source. What? I don't know what the LWJ is as a source. Last little white Jesus. Ooh, last Whovian justice. Okay, but we're going down many things. You get the point that I'm making here, and that's just Pakistan. Here's Yemen. Only 9. There's no way. These numbers are way too freaking low. Somalia, right? Forgot we were bombing Somalia. Oh, I guess they only list those 3 countries. Maybe that's why. But I don't understand how to the left you can get obliterated. You can be considered Mecha Hitler, not worth talking to, traitor to everything, if you are in the same room as like a podcaster they don't like. But if you don't vote for Mamdani, you're the worst person ever. Unlike this guy, whoever he is, who's hanging out with this known war criminal responsible for the deaths of thousands of children. That's fine. That's just smart politics. That's just what you got to do. You got to play the game. You got to get out there. You got to drink the blood on the island with everybody else, and then you get to be the mayor of New York, and you also have to have extremely rich parents who have been connected to this nonsense since they were young. You got to be like born into it, go to the right private schools, and then take a photo op where you eat rice with your hands to try and like show your cred of not being like a CIA designed in a lab nepo baby. It's the AOC protocol. Get a brown person to support these insane policies of, destroying chunks of the world, mostly occupied by other brown people. Like, you think he'd care about how many Pakistanis are getting blown up? He's not Pakistani, but you know what I'm saying. Actually, wasn't he born in Somalia or something like that? Obama blowing up Somalia. Are we gonna do this? Here, we'll do a live search, especially because I don't took away me instead. I don't think Nicolette's coming back. So let's see here. Where is it? If he's Somali, that'd be really ironic. If you type in Mamdani birthplace, it's Uganda. Duh. All right, he didn't. His birth land was not droned by. Oh wait, did Obama drone Uganda? Nah, probably not. Somalia and Libya, yeah, but not Uganda. Oh, they had drone bases in Ethiopia and Djibouti. No one is coming to save you. Least of all from these freaking... I swear too much because it's fun. It makes me feel happy to swear. But certainly not from either of these like decoy parties that are meant to drain you of any of your vital energies that might go towards doing something. You're instead supposed to donate your money to Act Blue or whatever the GOP one is. Believe me, I talk in a one-sided fashion because I assume basically nobody listening to the show is like a Republican that needs to be pushed to no, it's going to be a lot of liberals, socialists, DSA types might be listening to the show, maybe some PSL people, I don't know. And my goal is to just remind you how this is a treadmill that we've been on for a long, long time. And this information was told to me by people of color way back in the day. Like, that was the line from like through the whole 90s is you'd hear from black people all the time, like, not Obama yet, but it's like the Democrats are a party that pretend to care about minorities once every 4 years. And then as soon as they get their votes, they just, bye, they forget about you. Like the Boondocks is making jokes about that. I'm watching it as a child, and you sit there and you're like, well, come on, it's not like I know it seems like that, but really, like, they just need enough of a majority. Like, I would just go into the same nonsense that just bounces off of my head now, because it's like, nah, that's not true. It's like, well, if they just had enough votes, and then you look at all these various examples. We now have the ultimate examples of Obama's supermajority, where absolutely nothing of substance was accomplished, at least not in a left direction. Certainly, they accomplished the destruction of Libya and multiple other countries in that time. How many Democrat votes does it take? Would a 100% majority accomplish our goals somehow? Because that's what they'd tell us. And even then, they'd be like, well, you see, the people who voted against your thing, you want your health care, your student loan, whatever, you're ending a war, they are the bad kind of Democrats. So really, you just got to go and vote them out and replace them with a whole different, better kind of Democrat. It doesn't end. At no point do they go, you know what, you're right, F them. We're changing the strategy. Don't vote for anybody. Like, of course not. It's a business of recuperating your energy in the form of money, donations, votes, marches, going to your No Kings advertisements, your No Kings rallies, corporately approved political events. It doesn't go anywhere. And I don't say that based on like personal anger or hatred or jealousy, whatever. It's just historical evidence. It just doesn't work. If it worked, it would have worked by now. We've had a full century of this horse race back and forth, red, blue, Democrat, Republican farce, and it produces the same results. We continue to flop back and forth between, we go with one party, it doesn't do what we want, go to the other party, it doesn't do what we want. Voting does not matter. It does at a national level, it very, very doesn't matter. You might be able to point to specific local races that have some kind of effect. But in general, the system has effectively neutralized voting as a mechanism of real change, even of real reform, let alone the type of change that would be necessary now at this stage of American development. I just now looked at the chat. What's going on? 40 minutes ago, Abby, are you a time traveler's in here? I'm glad we're all in agreement about the CalCare disaster. I don't know, just that's why it's not even a freaking news article. You don't even have like a big outrage about how dare they, like, Californians just had healthcare just taken from them by the party that they've all been electing to get them healthcare for generations, and you get like half an article about it because the nursing association cared. Like a labor group put together an article, and that's it. You're not getting your big CNN articles. Nobody's going on, I don't know, Fox News. Why don't you have a big frickin' field day with this? Fox News should be today just like, the Democrats are at it again. Like, you could do a whole thing, like drum up your culture war nonsense, somehow make it about, I don't know, make it about gays. The transes took healthcare. That's a reference to last week. We're in the middle of a totally unrelated thing. Oh, it's why Canada can't build high-speed rail. They're like, also trans. I'm like, why does this have to be in every article? All right. I'm out. I'm calling it. I hope Nicolette's all right over in her hole of internet that she's experiencing at the moment. Goodbye, everybody.